Hola, my name is Claudia Samantha Dugan, and today I will be speaking about the importance of cultural competency. Cultural competence is an essential element of global competency. Analyzing cultural perspectives, products, or practices, and responding appropriately is vital when interacting with others and when solving common problems in our very interconnected world. In order to engage in an analysis of cultures, it is vital to understand the ideas that shape perspectives, practices, and products, to avoid making faulty assumptions, to steer away from overgeneralizations, to thoughtfully decide which are the cultural dimensions that characterize cultural expressions, and to respond appropriately. 5 predominant views in the study of cultures and diversity are based on Globe's research project findings, Hofstede's cultural dimensions, Trompenard's cultural dimensions, hidden rules among classes, and generational theories such as those of Strauss and Howe. Many of the concepts in the predominant theories are similar, and at times they even overlap. For the purpose of this presentation, I will only concentrate in cultural dimensions based on Globe, Hofstede, and Trompenard. Avoiding faulty assumptions. Faulty assumptions have the potential to get us in trouble. I'll tell you a story, something that happened to me about more than 20 years ago. Oops, I'm revealing my age. But anyway, a little bit more than 20 years ago, I was working for an organization that contracted many Spanish speakers here in Washington, D.C. And I made the assumption that because everyone in the organization spoke Spanish, they also understood the context of some of the things that I said. So one morning, I went into the lounge area where my colleagues and friends were having some tea, and they all were very nice. They greeted me, "How are you?" And of course I said, "Muy bien, gracias, pero hoy tengo un poco de flojera." And one of them just looked at me like really worried, and I saw many eyebrows kind of raised, like, and one of my friends also, she sounded very sympathetic, very worried, and she said, "Oh," but they were very diplomatic. They didn't say anything. A little bit later on, I ran into one of my colleagues again, and she said, "Well, did you take something? Have you taken anything?" And I'm thinking, taken anything for what? And she said, "Didn't you say earlier that you had some flojera?" Well, and tengo flojera in the Spanish of Mexico means I'm feeling a little bit tired or lazy or something like that. But when I talked to her a little bit longer to understand why she had asked me if I had taken anything, she explained that in many places, in many Spanish-speaking countries, tengo flojera means I have diarrhea. So I had made the wrong assumption that because everyone spoke Spanish, they would understand the context of what I was saying. We cannot say that the culture of all Spanish speakers is the same. We cannot even say that the culture of all Spanish speakers of Mexico is the same. We cannot even say that the culture of all Spanish speakers Chilangos en el DF is the same. I cannot even say that the culture of the Spanish speakers in my own family or the members of my own family is the same. We need to recognize the multifaceted complexity of each individual. That is worth recognition. Writer and author Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie recently spoke on a TED Talk of the danger of a single story. She eloquently spoke the remarkable accounts of many resilient people who often thrive under very difficult situations and who break the conventional stereotypes. Narratives, as Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie pointed out, restore the dignity of the individual. And that's a reminder that we need to consider the dignity of the individual when studying cultures. What are cultural dimensions? Important names in the studies of cultural dimensions are Globe, Hofstede, and Trompenaar. Power Distance Index. Power distance is the extent to which members of organizations and institutions accept and expect that power is distributed either equally or unequally. Cultures that endorse low power distance expect and accept power relations that are more consultative, collaborative, and democratic. Individualism versus collectivism. The degree to which individuals are integrated in groups. Individual rights, assertiveness, achievement are often valued in societies with high degrees of individualism. Collaboration, caring for the well-being of others are highly valued in cultures with high degrees of collectivism. Dimensions make the distinction between institutional collectivism and in-group collectivism. It is possible for both to highly value individualism and to also work in environments that value teamwork and collaboration. I have friends, for example, who value individualism and work for organizations such as NASA. Institutional collectivism is the degree to which organizational and societal institutional practices encourage and reward collective distribution of resources and collective action. In-group collectivism is the degree to which individuals express pride, loyalty, and cohesiveness in their organizations or families. Uncertainty avoidance is the degree of tolerance for uncertainty or ambiguity, or extent to which a society, organization, or group relies on social norms, rules, and procedures to alleviate the unpredictability of events. Gender egalitarianism is the degree to which a group or organization minimizes gender inequality. Humane orientation. The degree to which an organization or society encourages and rewards individuals for being fair, altruistic, friendly, generous, caring, and kind to others. Think about leaders, famous leaders, admire leaders, and you will probably recognize some of these characteristics in them. Performance orientation. The degree in which individuals value competition, call attention to completing tasks, and or seek to establish a sense of superior ability. Assertiveness is the degree to which individuals express directly and openly their discomfort at the irregularities they discern or perceive. A low degree of assertiveness does not imply a lack of discernment of irregularities, but often a higher degree of valuing harmony or saving face. Time orientation. There are three predominant views. The first one is based on the socio-economic views of pain. She writes about that, present, future, traditions, and history. The second one is based on Hofstede, long-term versus short-term orientation, and the third one is based on Globe, future orientation. Time orientation. Cultures focus their attention to time differently. For example, high future-oriented cultures value planning, saving, investing, and delaying gratification. Cultures of the present, which often are also cultures with a high tolerance for uncertainty, value living in the moment. This tendency is often a result of conditions of uncertainty and lack of safety and security. However, there are cultures that are also oriented to the present because of philosophical convictions, such as variations of Epicureanism. Other cultures express pride for their past, especially for their traditions and history. Indulgence versus restraint. the extent to which members of a society try to control their desires and impulses. The tendencies and reasons for such orientations are very similar to those of time orientation. In some societies, the level of gratification is often controlled by strict norms and/or institutions. After analyzing cultural expressions, products, perspectives, and artifacts, it is also important to respond appropriately. Responding appropriately includes not assigning values of right, wrong, or better, worse based on our own values, but instead responding analytically to observations that take into consideration social and environmental contexts. Let me finish by emphasizing that globalization is not finding ways to make the world homogeneous. It is more about learning how to connect with others in a thoughtful and respectful manner. There is a need to work together to solve those social and environmental global issues that affect us all. And of course, in order to work together within and across borders, we need cultural competency.